Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms World of Warships. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a crazy game that I had in the Tier 10 American battleship, the Big Sky, in the Montana. I'm divisioned up with my fellow channel contributor, Puddin597. He is in his Tier 10 Japanese battleship, the Yamato. We're playing some domination here on the new map, Loop. Now, there are two reasons why I want to show you guys this replay. One, well, this is the highest damaging game that I have ever achieved in World of Warships. I've played almost 1,700 games, and this is the highest that I have yet to get. So that's a good thing. But more so, the other reason is because it's going to be a loss. And partly due to that is because of some of the decisions that I make in this game. The raw statistical output that I produce, and basically the statistics that you're going to see at the end of the game, are very, very, very good for a Montana. But some of the decisions that I make, I do think cost the team the victory. And after watching the replay back a couple times, after I got done playing this game, you know, there's times where you just have to look at what you've done in a game and say, you know what, I did screw up here. So in the comment section below, tell me what you guys think I could have done better when the situations come up. I'll let you know when that's the case. Now, however, please leave the comments in the bottom to those of you that have tier 10 ships, that have experienced high tier gameplay. I certainly don't need someone that has never gotten out of a Wyoming telling me how to captain a Montana. But please, constructive criticism. Let me know what you guys think I should have done. However, at the beginning of the game, I make a lot of great decisions, and it's going to benefit the team. Heading over to Objective Alpha with my buddy Puddin, there is an Iowa, a Mogami, a Kikero coming over here, and a Tago's moving over here. There's going to be plenty of friends over here at A to help us out. Now, the Montana, really quickly. It's kind of the ugly stepchild of the Tier 10 BBs. Obviously, there's only two in the game, and the Yamato is just far superior in terms of armament and firepower, and those are probably the two most important aspects of battleships. You have to have good guns, and you have to have the armor to withstand the other battleships' guns. And the Montana is a good ship, but it just gets outclassed so much. When you're in a game and there's no Yamato in it, you can do really well at a Montana, but the Citadel is massive on this thing, and it's something that the Japanese 18.1-inch shells from the Yamato can just completely exploit. And it doesn't matter if you're bow in or not. You can get overmatched on your armor by those shells, and you cannot do the same thing back. My first salvo there, one shell hit for 4,400 damage on the Izumo. The way to beat a Yamato in the Montana is you have to close the range and get around them. Too many people get stuck in that mindset, like in a North Carolina or an Iowa, where they get bow in and they slow down, either come to a stop or start backing up, and they just sit there and tank damage and bounce a lot of shells from the front. Well, the Yamato's guns don't give a crap about the angle that you're presenting. So you have to get around them by using your maneuverability, but it is difficult because a lot of Yamato players are, well, quite frankly, scared, and they fear every ship in the game for whatever reason. I don't know why. I can't wait to get my Yamato and push people around like it's nothing, but they like to stick it over 20 kilometers and just shoot their guns from very long range. So it is a bit difficult to close the distance if they're playing like that, but if they do rush you or they give you the opportunity to do so, you have to take it. And that's really all I can say about that. I've only played 9 or 10 games in the Montana thus far. I did just unlock it, but I've already kind of figured out the key to beating these Yamatos, and it also helps to have, your teammates shooting at them as well. Anyway, we've captured Objective Alpha, and the enemy team has captured Objective C. No ships have been sunk yet. We're just over 3 minutes into the game, and so far my accuracy has been a bit off, a bit poor, very uncharacteristic for me. I keep shooting some rounds at this Yamato, couple salvos. All of them have missed, and this is the third one that I've shot at him, and I do manage to get 3 ricochets, 1 overpen for 1,350 damage. That is actually really rare on a Yamato to get an overpen. Oh well, RG ain't smiling at me today. 5,805 damage done, 5 shell hits, and there is a collection of 3 enemy ships that are moving around the islands just straight in front of me, just slightly off my port side. There's a Mogami, there's an Otago, and there is an Amagi. So I'm looking for a good shot, and the Amagi is presenting a fantastic broadside opportunity here. And these kind of ranges, this is where American battleships shine. If you can get down to about 14, 13 kilometers and less, you can just absolutely wreck ships. And there you go, 22,900 damage. That is a fantastic salvo. That Amagi just took quite the double tap, both from my friendly Iowa and then myself. Now that Azumo that I shot at earlier, all of a sudden I noticed has 200 health. I have no idea what happened to that guy. Probably got cruiser spammed by high explosive. Looking for more shots, trying to decide which target I want to shoot at. And unfortunately all the ships just to the right of me have went behind the second island over there. Take my first damage of the game from the enemy cruiser, some high explosive spam. Looking for a shot on the Ibuki now, as he's slowly moving away. He's behind our friendly smokescreen, but he is still visible. And I'm still deciding, hey, I don't know. Should I shoot at him? And then I decide to pull the trigger. So, at this point, no one has taken objective Bravo, but I really don't want to move over there at the moment because there's no enemy presence over there. I'd rather stay over here and deal with the ships that are behind that island over there. And I can see that they're slowly starting to push around that island over there at let's see, F2. And one thing about the Montana that is nice is I run a concealment build on this thing, and you can get your detectability down to around 13 kilometers. And I don't know about you, but that's pretty frightening to know that a battleship with 12 of these guns can absolutely wreck something that's 13 kilometers away and get the jump on them. And that's crazy. It is able to outvision a Moskva. It's able to outvision a lot of the Tier 8 and 9 battleships. It's pretty crazy, honestly. Unfortunately, at this point, I'm getting detected by aircraft, but the Amagi is now moving back away from Alpha, but he is presenting somewhat of a broadside. He's slowly turning back to his port side. So I get my full broadside out. Dispersion looks okay. Amagi turns back into it, and I do 7,000 damage. Not what I was looking for, but good damage nonetheless. Now, I see that the Mogami, it looks like he's come to a stop over here. Not really sure what's going on, and I don't know where that Otago is either. We've lost 2 ships to the enemy's 1, and they have almost a 100-point advantage. And at this point, I see the Otago coming around the island at 10 kilometers away. This is absolute golden real estate for an American battleship. I don't aim far enough ahead of the target, but I'm still going to get a lot of shells to come and impact. No Citadel, but a solid 18,000 damage done to that enemy Otago, up to 54,000 damage with 29 target hits and 1 Citadel. So that Otago's hurting. It would have been nice to get a Citadel there, but nonetheless, that's still very good damage. You can't complain about 18,000 whatsoever. Looking for my next shot on the enemy Otago. He is sailing away from me at not full speed. My hand jerks a little bit right as I shoot the salvo. Shells are falling in on the target. He turns away at the last second. However, I'm still able to do 9,000 damage to the enemy Otago. So now he is at less than half of his health, and I've done some pretty good work on him. Now I'm looking for a shot at the enemy Mogami, who has been sitting behind the island there, kind of stationary, shooting over, because it does get hit by a friendly torpedo bomber, loses about 7,000 of his health, and now I'm looking for the next shot. He is slowly moving forward. I aim just at the bow of the ship. Shells are falling in. Decent dispersion. There we go. 8,900 damage. And enemy Mogami took quite the big hit, and he is on perilously low health. Now, it's at this point that I see that we have now all of a sudden lost 4 ships to the enemy's 2, and I'm kind of wasting my time over here at Objective Alpha. I've stayed a little bit longer, kind of worn out my welcome, and I see now that a large proportion of the enemy team has moved into Objective Bravo. And at this point, the only way that we're going to be able to win the game is if I'm able to get over there, if my buddy Pun is able to get over there, if somebody is going to be able to get over there and take out those enemy battleships and cruisers that have made their way into the mid-portion of the map. So, because of that, I start to turn, and I'm going to head over to Objective Bravo. The enemy team has just under a 100-point advantage. We have pulled the scores back a little bit. They have lost 3 ships to R4. We're about 9 minutes into the game, and 72,000 damage. You know, no ship kills, nothing crazy yet, but decent damage nonetheless in the Montana. So that enemy Mogami has very low health. I know the enemy Amagi has been taken care of. That Otago is also on very low health as well. Now, the enemy team has just killed their 5th ship of the game. Get my front turrets working on that enemy Montana. At this point, not feeling very confident about the game so far. So I told my buddy Putin, I'm like, hey man, I'm going to go over to Objective Bravo. I still got all these hit points. Decent salvo there, 4,400 damage. I got all these hit points left. I've been doing some decent damage, but I'm going to go over to Bravo and I'm going to get stuck in there because it appears that my team needs me over here. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. 4 seconds left on the reload. 2, getting ready. Swinging the turrets to get a full broadside going on the enemy Montana. Broadside out. Shells are going downrange. He is now softening his angle just a little bit towards me. Shells falling in on the target. All right, 16,000 damage done. That's a very healthy salvo. 7 penetrating hits. 1 shell does not. Very good stuff. Almost up to 100,000 damage done so far. So we continue to move in. There's an Ibuki that's on less than half health. There's the enemy Montana, who is also near half health. There's also an enemy North Carolina that is moving through Objective Bravo, heading up towards our friendly Iowa and Otago. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, who's going to be the priority target here? And I'm thinking, yeah, that Montana's got to go. And I'm going to show you here, this is pretty much exactly how you want to play it against, this is how you want to play it against the Yamato. Now, obviously, this is an enemy Montana we're talking about here, but this is how you want to play it against the Yamato. Now, he's presenting a bit of a broadside here as he comes back around the island. He does notice me, however, and he's aimed at me, so I get my full broadside out. Now, what you're going to see here is me closing the distance. I'm going to be turning left, right, just being completely irrational with my movements as I manage to dodge all the shells. Wow, that's some great RNG. Now, generally, what would happen here is that Montana would be, if he was a Yamato, he would probably come to a stop or go really slow right where he's at and stay completely bowing. So you have to rush him. You have to rush him because his turrets turn so slow, you have to get up close to him and punish him at point-blank range. Front turrets out on the Ibuki get 1 penetrating hit, 1 overpen, and 1 citadel. 14,000 damage done, and that Ibuki is now very, very close to death. The enemy Montana is now presenting, he's opening his angle just a shea bit. My secondaries start getting into gear against him. I take a bit of damage, 5,800 from his front guns. Now he's turning, and it appears that he overturned right here. I'm not sure if he meant to turn this much, but now, because I'm giving the opportunity, I'm going to swing my guns into play, get the full broadside going, aim right at the bow of the ship. Full broadside out. I managed just 1 citadel, 8 ricochets, 3 penetrating hits, but still over 14,000 damage nonetheless. And this is where the Montana, I'm maneuvering myself into position. He makes a big mistake, and he told me after the game that he misjudged the reload on the Montana. And it's funny because he's in one as well. We got 7 seconds left on the reload. Looking for the shot here. This is what you got to do. You got to get to a position where a Yamato is like this to you at point-blank range because you're going to get the kill every time. 26,000 damage done, 2 citadels, 2 target hits. We're up to 6 planes shut down as well, 151,000 damage done. And we're going to be hopping on Objective Bravo really soon here. Looking for a shot on either the New Orleans or the Hipper. They are both sailing away from me. And then the enemy Otago makes his appearance and Putin tells me, hey, you got to get that guy. He died a little bit ago. Looking for the shot, swinging the guns into play. Otago is still on more or less a parallel course. Shoot my guns in anger. Shells falling in on the enemy Otago. Are we going to get rewarded for it? Let's see here. 11,000 damage guns. Such good damage, but man, if you just got 1 citadel, that would have been the end of that Japanese cruiser, the Tier 8 Premium Otago. I go behind the island, and I'm, because of that, undetected. So now I'm looking for a sneaky shot here on this enemy Hipper. However, I do notice the Yamato is 10 kilometers away from me, and he is turning in towards Bravo. Get my full broadside out on the Hipper, and shells are flying in towards the target. Dispersion looks okay. Dang it, man. No citadel, but about 10,000 damage done. Again, this is very good damage. Pick up the Confederate. 172,000 damage done, but man, it'd just be nice if you get that 1 citadel to hook you up. Now, this Yamato is about 8.4 kilometers away, and he's turning away from me at this point to deal with the friendly torpedo bombers that are inbound, and he's presenting a perfect broadside. Again, a situation just like this. Get a Yamato completely out of position. Oh, boy. Yeah, there it is. 38,000 damage done. 2 citadels, high caliber. He shoots back at me with one of his turrets, does 7,000 damage. And the second salvo that's going to be coming in, yeah. It does 31,000 back to me, but I thought it was totally worth it to get rid of the majority of that Yamato's health, and he gets sunk by our carrier. What a good play there. I did lose, again, a lot of health, but that was worth it. Got objective Bravo taken. We're almost bringing the scores back. It is a 4v4 situation. 211,278 damage done, 81 shell hits, 7 citadels, 14 planes shot down, 1 ship destroyed. Excuse me. Got a base assisted capture as well, Confederate and high caliber. Now, all of that was great stuff. Besides taking the large hit from the Yamato, I did about as much as I could there without putting my ship in too much of a risk and too much of danger. And here, from here on out, is the decision making that I make. Let me know what you guys think. It's a 3v4 at this point. The enemy team still has 1 carrier, and they have 3 cruisers, the Otago, the New Orleans, and the Admiral Hipper. Shooting at the Admiral Hipper as he's sailing away, and great shell hits, over 10,000 damage, but man, I just wish that could have been a little bit more. That Hipper's going to come back to bite me in the butt later in the round. Making a look at the New Orleans, he is sailing broadside. He's only 9.3 kilometers away, roughly, as he's turning and trying to evade the shells from my friendly Otago. I got a detection, and right here, I jerk my aim just slightly behind. Shells are falling in on the New Orleans. I still do great damage nonetheless, 8,600 at that angle, but I could have done a lot more if I wouldn't have jerked my aim. 231,000 damage done so far. Looking for another shot on the New Orleans. Got 12 seconds left on the reload. I see the enemy Essex is over at objective Charlie. Some good shooting, but a little bit of RNG and a little bit of my my poor aim there has not allowed me to really wreck these cruisers, at least what I was thinking during the game. Get another broadside out at the enemy New Orleans. Shells are falling in on the target. He is not maneuvering, not turning away. Do okay damage, about 5,000 with 3 penetrating salvos. And these cruisers obviously can't get their health back because they're all tier 8, except for the Otago. But the Otago, maybe he's run out because I've seen him at 15,000 health for quite a long time now. Taking some return fire, however, now from not only the enemy New Orleans, but the Hipper as well. Looking for one more salvo on the New Orleans. Aiming, get a full broadside out. We're only losing by about 30, 40 points at this moment. There are enemy planes coming in on our position, though. Myself and the friendly Otago, a bunch of dive bombers coming in. My AA gets going, trying to shoot down as many of these planes as I can before they get onto the enemy or the friendly Otago. AA going to work. Get 2 planes so far. Enemy torpedo bombers coming in as well. The Otago is presenting me a good broadside at 13 kilometers. However, he just goes out of my detection. But now I'm looking for a shot on the Essex. So I wasn't sure. As I get a full broadside out on the Otago, I see the Essex is coming in. I wasn't sure if I should stay here at Bravo or if I should continue over here with the Otago and help support him. 3 overpens. So unlucky there with the RNG on those guns. More of the enemy planes are coming in on our position. Get another plane shot down, up to 19 planes taken care of. Looking for a shot on the Essex now, He's turning away from me. Unfortunately, they're able to land the bomb hits that they need on the friendly Otago. He's left on perilous health, 551. Get my full broadside out on the enemy Essex. Shells are falling in on the target. We have taken the lead in the game thus far. Get about 14,000 damage done, and unfortunately my friend in the Otago gets taken out by the enemy New Orleans. I'm up to 252,000 damage. However, now the enemy team has built back that lead, and it's only me and the friendly carrier. So at this point, the Tahoe is moving in towards objective Charlie since the Essex is got pushed away, certainly so by my salvo and because of the friendly planes that are over there. He doesn't want to stay spotted. Now, that New Orleans is at a range where these guns did take too long to travel to without him being able to maneuver and get out of the way. Shells coming in on my position. I get hit by 1, and unfortunately, I get lit on fire. We're down 883 to 921, and I decide, okay, I'm not going to push Objective Charlie. I know that the Admiral Hipper and the Otago are over here. I'm going to go back and defend Objective B, and hopefully be able to, defend Objective A as well. Shots out. Looks pretty decent on the New Orleans. He is trying to turn away. Takes 2 right through the bow, both over pens. 2,700 damage done, and man, the last salvos, probably last 3-4 minutes worth of salvos decent damage, but man, it'd just be nice if you can get some citadels. I see the enemy Hipper shooting at me as he's going into Objective Alpha, trying to swing the front guns into position. However, he goes off detection because he goes behind the island. I'm looking for a shot on the Atago, and this is the big mistake that I make during the game. And I noted that Atago was in Sector H5, and I'm looking for a shot on him. It appeared that he pulled a Notzer and ran aground over there, but I should know that that range that he's at away from me, you know, if he's running a concealment build, I'm not going to be able to detect him, but for some reason, I'm just worried about him appearing yet again, so I make the terrible decision right here to start turning in more towards Objective B and more so towards Objective Alpha. And when the Admiral Hipper comes around the island up here, I'm only going to be able to utilize my front guns. There's only 32 seconds left in the game, and if I'm able to get one kill here, we're going to have enough points to be able to take care of the victory. Friendly carrier is on Objective C. He's just about to cap, and unfortunately he gets hit by the enemy dive bombers, and I see the Admiral Hipper. He pops up at 12.6 kilometers, but I only have my front guns to play. 13 seconds left. The shells are falling in on the target. 5,200 health. No! 4,000 damage done. Oh, I only get 2 overpens. He's left on 327 health. And that's the end of the game. Oh, no. Taking a look now at the post-battle results. 654,000 damage done. 5,300 experience in total. We get a Fireproof, Confederate, Dreadnought, and High Caliber. Pretty much the Fab 4 of medals to get when you're in your battleship, taking damage and dealing it out. In return, 259,000 damage done, 107 target hits, 7 citadels, 21 planes shot down, only 1 ship destroyed, 1 assisted base capture. Taking a look at the team score here, 2,392 base XP on a loss. I did better base XP-wise than every other ship in the game except for the Montana, and there were plenty of them on the enemy team that had decent games in victory. Just, oh man, why I didn't have all 4 turrets pointed at that enemy Hipper, I don't know. I was just so worried about that Atago. Detailed report, 258,000 damage done with the main battery, all of it armor piercing, just over 1,000 from the secondaries, and right there, even the best of players, you know, even the best of teams, they just sometimes have those moments where you just get a sudden rush of crap to the brain. And for whatever reason, I felt that Atago was the threat, even though I was never going to be able to detect him before he would detect me. And unfortunately, RNG says no when shooting at the Admiral Hipper. So please take a few lessons from this game. Just stick to what you think you're supposed to do, but I should have really chased those cruisers down at the end of the game, and that's what my buddy Puddin said after. I really should have chased him down because I do have a top speed of 30 knots in this thing, so I really should have been more proactive at trying to engage those cruisers instead of being a little less and just trying to defend the cap and letting them get to ranges where they're able to dodge my shells easier. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this replay. It was a solid game nonetheless, and this is the Sneaky Snake for Brothers in Arms World of Warships. Thank you, and have a great day.